All right, gentlemen, what is going on? In this video, I'm going to go over some of the cars that I feel are going to be appreciating in value in the future. I've talked about money and spending money on cars in a lot of my other videos. Browse the channel if you haven't seen a few of those yet. But I've gone through the Auto Trader in Canada and forced to go to the autotrader.com in the US to find what I think are examples of cars that will appreciate in value over the next 5 to 10 years. So the criteria that I typically look for is a low production vehicle that's got high desirability. Now, high desirability can be defined by cars that might have been showpieced in movies, for example, like the Audi R8 was demonstrated a lot through the Iron Man series, and the BMW Z8 was demonstrated through the couple of the Bond movies. I think one of the Bond movies, followed by the Aston Martin DBS, things like that. So that's an example of something that would have desirability, because typically what happens is we kind of fall in love with an era and a movie, something like that, when we're younger, and as we get older, we're always attached to it. And when you start making more money, then that's when you start thinking about, hey, maybe I should go buy this toy, sort of thing. A lot of these in here have some of those components, some of them don't. The first one, I've never seen the Mini JCW GP in a movie. May or may not have missed it, but the reason why I like this and why I put this in my pick list today is because they made so few of these. They only made 50 of these delivered to the Canadian market, and they've held their value really well. A really good friend of mine has one of these, and he's promised to throw me the key so I can do a review video on it. I did take it out for a quick 5-minute drive, and I was blown away by this car. For what you pay, I wouldn't throw 50 grand right now at a Mini, but for what you pay for it, it's very, very cool. It's got lots of carbon fiber bits on it, very low production, dries extremely quick, for the size of it. I think this is a car that's going to go up in value. I have a couple of friends that are fastidious about Minis, and they've just restored a few of the older versions, like the original Mini Coopers, and they paid upwards of $100,000 just for the restoration components, and then you got to throw in another, 20 to 25,000 for the car, which they had to restore. So these will have a following in the future. If you can get your hands on a Mini JCW GP, it's got to be the GP model, which is the low production. You'll probably find some value in the future. I want to move on now. The next car that I selected, and I'm going up in price here, guys. The next car that I selected for the list is BMW M3 competition package. Between, I believe it's 2004, 2006, you could order the BMW M3 in the competition package. It was basically a lightweight version of the CSL that they got in Europe. We bitched and whined in North America about not getting the CSL, so BMW gave us a lot of the components that they put in the CSL and packaged it as a competition package. So the competition package wheels, the steering rack, I believe parts of the suspension components, the M driver's mode was all programmed for the North American market. So it's a limited production car. You want to get it in a 6-speed manual because there's no love for the SMG on the used market for M3. So you go looking for a 6-speed manual, of course. And when I go looking in the Auto Trader in Canada, nationally, nothing shows up. Absolutely nothing. Okay, it's a whole bunch of other M cars, but there's no low mileage, actually any mileage M3 competition packages for sale. So let's go to autotrader.com in the US, and I found 3. Sorry, this one isn't a competition package, so only 2 showed up. And these guys here at Enthusiast Auto Group have monopolized both, and it looks like they're both the same trim and finish, roughly the same year, miles, kilometers, roughly the same price and trim finishes. But here's the kicker for me, because I'm in Canada. So if I wanted to get my hands, like I'd have this one here, silver gray metallic on red leather, manual transmission. 54,990 American times 1.25 is the exchange rate, which means about 68,000. And then you got to pay 1.19, so 19% tax to get it into Canada. This would cost me $81,000 to bring this into Canada right now. I don't think that is a valuable purchase or a good use of my money, but I'm highlighting the prices that these things are selling for right now, because I'm going to look at this in 5 or 10 years. Like, mark my word, I'm going to go back and watch this video to see what this stuff is selling for, and I guarantee that you'll see M3s with a 6-speed manual in great shape, with low mileage, going for well over $100,000 in 5 to 10 years time. So that would be my next pick. Would be a nice clean 6-speed manual competition package M3 between the 2004 2006 model year. Moving on. So it's end of June 2016, and Dodge had just announced that they are discontinuing the Dodge Viper. So you're going to see some desirability pop up in these vehicles as well. I think this one here is an excellent buy. It's a 2008 ACR. You'd want to get something, again, low production. The ACRs are low production, very, very high potency vehicles. They're basically race cars for the street. This one here has got the 707 horsepower, 6-speed manual transmission. Looks like it's fully loaded with all the bells and whistles. Is that going to open up for me or what? There you go. Come on, sweetheart. It's got the wing. Everything is pretty much done to it. It is a gorgeous specimen of a car. Something like this will go up in value. If you can get your hands on one of these bad boys, it's also got low kilometers, only 9,000 kilometers. That will be worth more in the future, guaranteed. Unless Dodge comes back in 2 or 3 years and says, oh, we changed our mind, we're going to start making the car again, and they pump out a shit ton of the numbers. But I think this is probably a good future buy to see it go up in value. Moving on. I really like the Cayman GT4. I think that they're overpriced right now, but I'm putting this one in my video today. They just released the car, so it hasn't depreciated much yet. It's very low production. It's the last naturally aspirated Cayman that's on the market. They're going turbo from now on. Available as 6-speed manual. I believe it was a GT3 front suspension they put in the front end of the car, and it's got the 3.8 out of the 911 in it. So it is a beautiful car. It's very desirable. There's quite a few for sale here in Canada, anywhere from 159 down to 144,000. So roughly all in the same range. I don't know that these are going to move much in the next 5 years, but my pick is that this is going to go up. This is something that you'd want to buy and hold long term. It's going to be desirable. 6-speed manual, low production car. Available with the natural aspirated motor. It's the last one of its kind. All right, let's move on to the next one. Also love the Porsche Boxster Spyder. This is a little bit less. This is 126,000 for a 2016 model year. Again, brand new model. There's not a lot of these for sale though, and the reason for that is I was told by the dealer that for every 5 GT4s that were delivered to the dealers for sale, there is only one Boxster Spyder. Now, it's a little bit less of a vehicle than the GT4. It's got a little bit less love for it, and I'll tell you why. Because it doesn't have the GT3 front suspension in it. They basically put the Porsche Boxster, I think it's the GTS suspension in the front. So still a nice upgraded one, but it doesn't have that pedigree that goes with the Cayman. As another note for these Boxsters and Caymans, there was the option for the order of the carbon fiber 918 seats in them. A lot of them did not come with them. They came with the regular seats, so look for one that came with the 918 seats if you can get it, because it's extremely desirable. Moving on, we're going to hop into Lamborghinis now. I've been a critic of Lamborghinis, but I love them too. And ever since I saw the, that poster of the white Countach when I was a kid with the Pirelli logo on it, I've always loved them. This one here is the one that I'd go for. You'd want to get the gated 6-speed manual simply because they're no longer making any manual transmission Lamborghinis anymore. So if you get your hands on something like this, does this have the gated 6-speed? Yes, it does. Bingo. And if you get your hands on one of those, I think that's something that's going to be worth more for anybody in the future for sure. Now, they did make a ton of these. It's not like Gallardos are rare, but gated manual Lamborghini Gallardos are rare. There wasn't a lot of Mercialagos made with the gated manuals either. So my personal opinion is I think it's a good buy. I wouldn't go for the E-Gear if you're looking for something to appreciate in value. You can probably buy a ton of those for a reasonable price right now. I mean, even on the Auto Trader here in Canada, you can get them for about 104, 105,000. But let's move on to the next one. Last car I would throw into this pool of picks would definitely be a V12 Lamborghini. And the reason for that is every single V12 Lamborghini that's ever been produced has always appreciated in value to a considerable degree. They just sound amazing. You know, not to take away from the V10 or the Gallardo, but they just sound amazing, and they're always going to be desirable. The cheapest one that you can see on the trader right now, 22,000 kilometers, is 168,000. My guess is these are going to be worth a lot more in the future, and they can go all the way up if you want to get your hands on an LP670 for about $500,000. So those are my picks. I would love to hear what your thoughts are, guys. Leave a comment below in the video. Of course, give it a thumbs up. And if this is the first video you checked out, subscribe to the channel. Lots of good stuff on there, and browse the other videos. We'll talk to you guys later. Have an awesome day. Peace.